The movie begins by introducing Adrian Franck, a prisoner convicted of a €2 million robbery. He shares a cell with Jean-Louis Maurel, who has been convicted of a heinous crime involving an underage teenager. One night, 3 male inmates enter their cell with malicious intentions, knowing Louis's criminal history. Upon their arrival, they ask Adrian to step out, giving them more freedom to torment Louis. These 3 men had bribed the prison warden to access Louis's cell. Adrian steps out, positioning himself in front of the cell door. Unable to bear the sounds of Louis's suffering any longer, Adrian decides to intervene and confront the 3 aggressors. This leads to a brawl between Adrian and the 3 inmates. Adrian finds himself on the brink of death as the 3 attackers nearly strangle him. Fortunately, the guards arrive in time to prevent a tragedy, breaking up the fight. The following day, both Adrian and Louis receive visits from their wives. During his visit, Anna, Adrian's wife, inquires about the whereabouts of the stolen money. Adrian chooses not to reveal its location, as he still harbors doubts about trusting Anna. Anna brings their daughter with her, who yearns to see her father despite his initial reluctance and concern about their child witnessing him in prison. Concurrently, Louis's wife informs him that their lawyer is working diligently to secure his immediate release. It seems that the family of the victim who had previously pressed charges against him has withdrawn their demands. While the inmates watch their monthly entertainment show, Adrian is suddenly attacked by another prisoner wielding a screwdriver. This inmate threatens Adrian, demanding to know the money's hiding place. With his release impending, the attacker intends to seize the stolen funds from Adrian. Despite enduring severe pain, Adrian remains steadfast and refuses to divulge the money's location. The assailant resorts to piercing Adrian's ear with the screwdriver until he loses consciousness. Adrian receives medical treatment at the prison clinic and remains unconscious for 3 days. When he awakens, Louis is by his side, grateful for Adrian's assistance during the previous inmate attack. Louis offers his phone number and assistance if Adrian ever needs it. Before departing, Louis goes to the bathroom to collect the remaining hair from Adrian's comb, seemingly saving it for his own nefarious purposes. A few days later, Adrian receives an unexpected visit from a former police commander named Manuel. Manuel explains that he's come to seek information about Louis, knowing that Adrian shared a cell with him. Adrian admits that he wasn't particularly close to Louis and considered him an ordinary, innocent person. Manuel vehemently disagrees, revealing Louis's true nature as a heinous and manipulative serial rapist and killer. Louis can convincingly pose as a pure and innocent person when dealing with his victims. Manuel shares a chilling account of his own experience trying to rescue one of Louis's victims from a deliberately set fire, although the victim did not survive. Manuel has attempted to arrest Louis, but solid evidence and witnesses have always eluded him. Louis's wife actively aids him in locating and releasing his victims from prison. Adrian is stunned by this revelation, especially since he entrusted his wife and daughter to Louis. Meanwhile, a female police officer named Claire is leading an operation with her team to apprehend a drug dealer. Claire goes undercover as a prostitute to confirm the target's identity. Once she's certain, she orders her team to initiate an ambush. A shootout between the drug dealers and the police ensues, with Claire successfully subduing the drug dealer. Back in prison, Adrian's mind is consumed by worries about his wife and daughter's safety. During his work duties, Adrian faces threats from a prison warden and 3 inmates who are after the stolen money. This leads to another violent altercation where Adrian manages to defeat them all. Seizing the opportunity, he escapes from prison by disguising himself as a warden. Elsewhere, Louis and his wife are at a supermarket, contemplating their next victim, a young girl. They come across news of Adrian's prison escape. Louis's wife is anxious, fearing that Adrian might discover their sinister activities. However, Louis remains confident that Adrian poses no threat to them. Unknown to Adrian, Louis and his wife have kidnapped Adrian's daughter. Meanwhile, a police commander named Luciana instructs Claire and her team to locate and arrest Adrian. Initially reluctant due to her team's ongoing drug ring case, Claire is compelled to take on Adrian's case under pressure from her superior. As Adrian returns to his apartment to reunite with his wife and child, he discovers the place empty. Believing that Anna might have relocated with their child, he leaves a letter, expressing his intent to find them soon. Unbeknownst to Adrian, Claire and her team surround the apartment. At first, they don't find him, but upon discovering a freshly written letter on the table, Claire intensifies her search. Adrian narrowly escapes Claire's pursuit by leaping out of a window and onto a speeding train. Later that evening, Adrian visits his father's grave to check if the stolen money is still hidden there. To his dismay, the money is gone, and instead, he finds Anna's lifeless body. Upon discovering that Louis had stolen the money and killed his wife, Adrian's heart shattered, and deep sorrow engulfed him for his wife and daughter. Adrian urgently contacted Louis and demanded to know his daughter's whereabouts. Louis callously responded that Adrian's daughter was safe for now, but any attempts to locate him could jeopardize the child's safety. With those chilling words, Louis terminated the call and initiated a sinister plan. Louis orchestrated a fabricated scene by planting Adrian's DNA alongside the victim's clothing, creating the false impression that Adrian was responsible for the murder he had committed earlier. He deliberately framed Adrian, strategically placing the victim's body at the location where Adrian had hidden after the robbery. The following day, the police launched an investigation at the site where Adrian had been hiding, and they tragically discovered the charred bodies of 2 teenage girls. One of the victims was the daughter of a former police officer named Thomas. Witnessing this horrifying discovery, Thomas was overcome with anger and grief. Consequently, the police began to suspect Adrian as the perpetrator of the double murder. Despite mounting evidence against Adrian, Claire, one of the officers, harbored doubts about his involvement, considering his prior criminal record only included the robbery. Meanwhile, Adrian sought out Manuel, who had retired from the police force but continued secretly conducting private investigations to track down and apprehend Louis. Manuel had previously received 2 bodies he suspected to be victims of Louis's murders, but DNA evidence did not implicate Louis. Adrian provided Manuel with the phone number he had used to contact Louis. Manuel quickly traced the signal from the phone number, sneaking into the nearest police station and utilizing their tracking system. While at Manuel's house, Adrian heard the approaching police sirens and realized that his location had been compromised. Adrian swiftly fled the premises. In a desperate bid to escape, Adrian took Claire hostage and ordered 2 other police officers to lower their weapons. He explained his plight to Claire, asserting his innocence and identifying Louis as the true culprit behind the framing. Adrian managed to break free, but not before Manuel arrived in the nick of time, using a car to rescue Adrian. Manuel sacrificed himself to ensure Adrian's escape, handing him a piece of paper containing Louis's address before succumbing to a gunshot wound inflicted during the escape. Adrian, who again managed to escape the police, immediately went to the destination using a stolen car. The next morning, Adrian supervised a pharmacy in the area because Adrian remembered that Louis had been very dependent on one type of medicine and would feel very panicked if he didn't take the medicine. On the other hand, Claire also began to investigate all the files regarding Louis because she feels sure that Adrian is not a serial killer. She remembers that before Adrian had the opportunity to kill her with a gun, but Adrian had absolutely no intention of hurting her. Meanwhile, Louis and his wife are on market with Adrian's daughter. While looking around, Louis again finds a beautiful girl he likes and would be the target of the next victim. On the way home, Louis and his wife pretend to ask the girl for a hospital address. The girl then replied that there was a clinic around this area. Louis's wife tried to persuade the girl to come with them and lead the way to the clinic, although the girl was hesitant at first. She finally got into the car because she saw a little girl and thought that they were not dangerous people. After passing the supposed place, the girl began to realize that she was being kidnapped and immediately took the fight. The girl managed to escape into a forest and quickly ran for help. Unfortunately, Louis managed to find the girl and killed her right away. The next day, Adrian saw that Louis had just come out of the pharmacy he was supervising, so he immediately went to follow Louis from behind. After driving for quite a while in a very quiet hilly area, Adrian finally found Louis' residence, which is located in a villa on hill. In the afternoon, Adrian starts sneaking into the villa and manages to find his daughter. At the same time, Claire also comes to the villa because she begins to suspect Louis as a serial killer. After the criminal analysis she did on Louis's files, Adrian felt very relieved and happy to see that his daughter was still safe and fine. Unfortunately, when Adrian and his daughter were about to run away from there, Louis and his wife suddenly appeared with rifles. Fortunately, Claire arrived just in time and immediately pointed a gun at Louis. However, Louis managed to shoot Claire until she was injured. Before he finally went to chase Adrian and his daughter, Adrian took the opportunity to run away with his daughter. He ran up the hill to hide his daughter from Louis. Claire, who was still alive, immediately beat Louis's wife and rushed to catch up with Adrian. Meanwhile, Louis has managed to find Adrian and immediately shoots Adrian with a rifle in front of his daughter. Fortunately, Adrian was still able to survive by holding onto a tree branch at the end of the cliff. Knowing Adrian is still alive, Louis intends to shoot Adrian dead, but the action fails because he gets killed by Claire. Claire and Luciana try to save Adrian. However, Thomas, who is the father of one of the girls who had been the victim of Louis's murder, suddenly appeared and shot Adrian. Thomas thinks that the person who raped and killed his daughter was Adrian. The next day they did a search in the river area to find the bodies of Adrian and Louis, but they could only find Louis's body. 3 months later, Claire visits Adrian's daughter at an orphanage. The film closes with a scene where Adrian's daughter receives a letter in the form of a sketch of a family, father, mother and daughter, sent by Adrian.